Hello, Zeb Aurelios from Star Wars Rebels, and you're listening to Inside the Force. Carabas. Gotta go, Hera's here.
It is a period of Star Wars mania. As new movies, comic books, novels, and TV shows populate the system. Fueled by their love and passion for the galaxy far, far away, two exceptional geeks tap into hundreds of holocrons in order to bring you the knowledge and insight of all things Star Wars. Come and join them as they go inside the Force.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Inside the Force. Dave Cottingham here with Casey Cooley.
Hello, everybody.
And with us in studio, actually, this time, our good friend Cody Guiler.
Hey, what's happening?
Hey. How are you, man?
I'm good.
Is
Thanks
this the first time he's actually here?
I think
Did
so,
you do
right?
one before where you've been here with us? It's always been over the
it's
phone.
always been called in.
I think you've only been on the phone.
Yeah.
Well, here he is.
Maybe.
Live and in color.
A lot shorter
Yeah.
in person.
You got to get a little
Just
closer.
kidding.
You got to get a little
A
closer.
little closer.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Star Wars.
Happy birthday, Star Wars. That's kind of why we make sure we had a Star Wars enthusiast with us on this episode. It is the 40th birthday for Star Wars. 40 years ago it was released. It was really neat. Did you guys see the Instagram? I don't think it was a story, but it was like, you know how they...
It's an Instagram video?
Yeah, it was like several of them. You scrolled over.
The little slideshow you can do now.
Yeah, did you see that yet? Did you see
No,
Star Wars?
I haven't seen
I
Star
haven't
Wars.
Oh, it's
post.
awesome. It's like the history of kind of the backstory of Star Wars. So
Yeah.
like the first thing was, 1973, Lucas comes up with the story, and then it has this Falcon going across the bottom.
Okay.
And then it gets to the end, it says swipe to
Yeah,
continue,
yeah.
swipe, and it said like 1975 casting Kenny Baker,
That's cool.
casting Anthony Daniels, casting, and you just keep going, and then it said, so I didn't know this, but it said May 1st, 1977, was the first time it was shown. It was a test screening. It was shown in a theater
Oh, really?
to a group of people. That was the first showing of it, actually. And then May 25th, it went to 32 theaters around the country. And then October of 77 is when it hit Europe. So
Cool.
yeah, 32 theaters. That's it. I mean, you think about it.
Wow.
32 theaters. I mean, episode 7 or even Rogue One, I think it was like close to 5,000 theaters or something like that,
Yeah.
Just
Easily.
nationwide, not worldwide.
It's also someone else's birthday today.
It
A
is.
Star Wars figure.
Do you know?
Frank Oz's birthday today.
Frank Oz's birthday today.
Wow.
So, I don't know what
He's,
age. I don't know.
how old is he?
73.
73.
He's born in
73.
44.
Happy birthday, Frank.
Yeah. He actually did a video today. A Star Wars show, I think they put it out on their social media or whatever, YouTube. Frank Oz is doing wish Star Wars a happy birthday.
Yes.
He's vacationing right now. And then Jimmy Smits did a video wishing Star Wars a happy birthday. That's pretty
So I'm going to
that's
go.
pretty
I'm
cute.
going to go ahead and
Pretty
call
funny.
him out because I don't think he listens to the show anyway.
Hey,
But Jake at work
Oh, yeah.
did not know who Frank Oz was.
Oh, my gosh.
well, he's getting fired.
I know, right? I said, put what you're doing down. Go Google him right now. And he went and read it. And he's like, oh my God. He's like, Muppets.
he's Kermit the
Yoda.
Frog.
I'm like, Frank Oz. Yes. Now you know, man. So,
You've heard his voice.
Yeah.
You just don't know.
yeah.
Exactly.
I know.
Jeez.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Frank. That's awesome.
Too old.
I wonder if he'll get to. I mean, I know we voiced him in Rebels,
Yeah.
Yoda, but will we see a Force Ghost Yoda?
The Last Jedi.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
8 or 9?
Everybody would applaud.
Oh my
I think
gosh!
so.
I think we have to.
Heard him in the trailer
Think
again,
so?
though.
Yeah,
I think we have to see Yoda one more time.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard people in the story group, whatever, say it's not about fan service necessarily.
Oh come on!
Although I think that is debatable, and we could talk about that because I think that is a topic. But there's got to be some fan service. we gotta see Yoda.
Yeah.
Come on, please.
yeah.
Some form of
I think
fashion.
there's just so much there because, I don't know, the Last Jedi trailer where it ended
Yeah.
with Luke, what he said, like, does Yoda's Force Ghost line up with what Luke's doing currently? You know, would there be conflict even there?
Maybe he's like ignoring the Force Ghost. Maybe they're trying to communicate to him, but he's like, no, I don't know.
Would he appear to Rey and not
Yeah.
Luke? All these things.
Well, who's he
could
even
be-
saying that to?
True.
I mean, he's in a cave.
Yeah.
That's why I still we talked about it. Like, surely Ray's not hanging out in a cave and he's talking to
That's
her
what
in
he
there.
does to talk to him.
Maybe maybe they're in there. I don't know. Okay.
Yeah.
So we got a lot to talk about
Yes.
as we get into the 40th anniversary celebration, but we will get into some news, obviously. First up, some big stuff.
Some big stuff, but we'll cycle to that in a minute. Kind of big stuff from last week. I don't think we actually talked about it. I think it was right after we recorded last week. The Han Solo set photos, right? We got our first. We got a first look.
We got him the next day, Friday.
Yeah, first
that's
look
right.
of Alden Ehrenreich.
Yes.
His and some shots of him, some shots of like the vehicle he's going to be driving, and some other set photos and
80s hair.
Yeah, the next day we got video of the car driving around. So, yeah, that's something to talk about a little bit.
Slightly spoilerish, but
Yeah, it is. If you could speculate, and you're probably right about. I feel like everybody's pretty similar in what they are speculating about the type of vehicles we're seeing, that kind of stuff. Where, just the first thing I've been saying on this show a lot is always just clamoring to see what he looks like. And as soon as I got the notification that it was posted, I was riding with you, Dave, to work, and I just showed it to you, and it was just silent. I'm just like, yeah, I don't know about this. I mean, I hope I'm not too fanboy in that, but yeah, he looks like David Hasselhoff. Yeah, he looks like Kit, he looks like Michael Knight.
Michael Knight. Yeah,
but he's driving Kit.
that's hilarious.
So yeah, Alden was in costume. I mean, okay, granted, it was a paparazzi photo, it was low quality, and looked like he looked a little scarred up, like he'd been in a fight. So maybe his hair was muscled a little bit. I don't know, but he has like the kind of Han Solo, Harrison Ford hair, but it's just bigger. It's just like bigger and poofier.
it's thicker for sure.
Thicker, yeah.
Or a lot of product. Maybe.
Yeah. He's wearing a white jacket. I mean, he looks a little like Han Solo. Sure, he could be like younger Han Solo, but it's just he doesn't look exactly like Harrison Ford. So that's just always going to be the issue for some people. Probably, I can optimistically hope I get over it, but I'm sure it'll be a great movie.
Yeah,
because everything I'm seeing looks good.
So you don't think he looks like the part of Han Solo?
I mean, acting wise,
I mean, I know he doesn't look it, but I think I have a lot of excitement for this movie, mostly because of who's directing.
Yeah.
Chris Miller, Philip Lord.
Yeah.
Lego Movie, amazing. It has nothing to do with the Star Wars universe, but I think taking the Han Solo movie in a direction that is so different, maybe it's a lot more humor. Maybe it's...
That's bad, right?
Thanks. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah.
Just move the mic for me. I just think the way they're taking the movie could be a fresh take is what you need in a movie where you're recasting an iconic role like Han Solo.
yeah.
But there's another time to really talk about this mainly. But we had mentioned though. Here's the thing though is I don't know how new we're gonna get with it because we're gonna probably see stuff like him freeing Chewbacca, him losing the Falcon, or not losing the Falcon, winning the Falcon. So there's elements that we're gonna get to that we probably have heard and obviously in the movies. And what really, I mean, there's got to be some kind of tragedy, I guess, or something like that, right? But he's not going to die. Chewbacca's not going to die. Lando's not going to die, right? Yeah. So I don't know. I hope I have some high hopes for it. And I mean, who knows when we're going to see? We got to see a teaser. We definitely got to see a trailer,
Before
probably on
out.
episode 8.
Yeah, hopefully.
Because the movie's in May, right?
Yeah.
I hope sooner, like maybe 8 months before the movie.
Well, I think that we're going to get a teaser sometime.
Something,
maybe Comic-Con or something like that.
D23, maybe.
Or D23. So, which we read up on finally. I cut all that stuff out.
Yeah, I know.
People don't know it.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a mess. Anyway, last episode was a mess. So, I think I have to wait until I hear him talk and how he's going to act.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
mannerisms.
Yeah, mannerisms.
Cadence,
Is he believable as Han Solo?
Is he going to do a Harrison Ford impression, or is he doing something his own? Is he going to make it something different? Because I would be okay with that,
right,
as opposed to just trying to emulate Harrison Ford, because that is real. That would be just too hard to do, and probably would make us feel like it's not really like giving us his full acting, you know.
Hopefully he'll have a careful balance of that, because I mean it's not,
because that is a fine line though, right?
Yeah.
I mean that is a fine line. How much you do yourself as opposed to what people remember as Harrison Ford. Because if you think about it, because I don't think any of us do, but is it Genevieve O'Reilly that plays Mon Mothma?
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't question that at all, even though she was kind of a minor character. Played by I can't remember. I knew her name, but I remember her. I forget her name in Return of the Jedi. But you never questioned her, and at least I'd never questioned her in Rogue One, right?
Yeah,
I mean, that was Mon Mothma. Mm-hmm. Now General Dodonna, you could tell he didn't look the same, but I mean, he looked similar.
just a big beard, big white hair. It covers.
But
the
he
face.
didn't speak much, so he did. So you're okay with that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how many you can think of beyond that.
Well, who played young Indy in?
That was Phoenix. River Phoenix.
I mean, not Star Wars related, but still Harrison Ford. I think he did a great job.
He did.
But he did a really good job.
Did a great. He actually had great mannerisms of Harrison Ford.
Yeah,
so little smirk in the way,
and he's a brilliant actor too.
Yeah.
I mean, he was brilliant.
Yeah.
But the guy that played him in the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles,
he did not.
Patrick Flannery,
he did not do a Harrison Ford.
Wasn't that great?
I haven't seen any of those.
I saw some of it.
It was a good show. I watched a lot of it. Patrick Flannery, who ended up being in Powder. You remember Powder?
Yeah, Powder. But he was one of the Boondock Saints too.
Correct. Yeah. So good actor.
Yeah.
But I don't think he pulled it off right. You know, River Phoenix was spot on. But anyway, but you're also talking a big gap of age in that instance versus apparently what we're getting is only 10 years, if that.
Well, so what is the timeline of Han Solo?
Bob Iger says maybe. Kathy Cannon said as well, but 18 to 24, that's the age range we will see him. So 24
is getting to
5
really
years.
close.
5 years, I'll be right. I'm 26, so from 24, 26, I don't think I've really changed that much. 3 years from now,
18 to 26, definitely, but 24, that's, and then the whole time jump of the movie. I'm interested to see how that works.
Also, there is time jumping.
It's got to be something. Yeah.
Yeah. So
24 to 29.
So 24. So that's roughly where Rebels starts, right?
Where it starts. Yeah.
So it ends where that happens. Okay. So anyway, a little bit of a tangent, but but yeah, I think there's so much. I think this by far will be the most controversial and talked about film. Like Rogue One, I don't think anybody really questioned whether or not they should have done it, or because if you think about, I mean, just for a second, think about it. Like, what if you saw a different actress, the actress playing Leia at the end of Rogue One? I mean, that's kind of what you're flirting with. Kind of. I know it's right. That's timeline's really close there.
Probably throw you out. It would definitely throw you out of the movie, I think.
Yeah.
I think it would.
Right? Like Tarkin, like if someone would have played Tarkin differently, and that wasn't actually, a computer-generated Peter Cushing, is like...
That's definitely crossing the line if they did that, whereas, it's a 5 year gap. There's some leeway, but still, it's like...
It's close.
It's close, because it's not even like Ewan McGregor and Alec Guinness. It's still...
That's right. That's a whole generation almost.
And I think they still look alike, but...
Yeah, I mean, they look alike, and that was, more than 10 years.
20 years.
20 years.
20 years. Do you, because I don't know if we've ever asked you on this show, I mean, what's your opinion about whether or not should they have done
some kind of...
facial stuff for Han Solo?
For Han Solo?
CG or prosthetics, either or, really. But
it's really interesting because I was thinking about it while you guys were talking, and I know Rian Johnson's doing The Last Jedi and not Han Solo film, but even what he did with Looper, with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, slight facial, constructing with CG elements and using still some of his face. It worked in Looper.
It did.
It was a little weird because I know what Joseph Gordon-Levitt looks like, and I was like, that's not his nose.
Yeah,
but still, it worked. It looked good, and he looked kind of like Bruce Willis. I mean,
right.
It could work. So that's still yet to be seen with Han Solo.
But that wouldn't have took you out of the movie?
If they do it for Han Solo?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I mean, I don't think they are now, obviously.
If they just put Harrison Ford's face, made it really young, like they did Robert Downey Jr.
Yes.
I don't know, a whole movie of that? I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen a whole movie of that. We've seen little scenes. We've seen Tarkin in Rogue One, and I mean that was really good. It was really well done, but still, when he
the lead character
moves his
is
mouth
different.
and moves his jaw, there's little subtleties that you notice that are like, oh, it's a little bit different. But then there's some people, like my wife, didn't even know that was a dead
I know.
actor.
Yeah, Sarah didn't
So
know either.
you know, there's a lot
my
of.
wife probably still doesn't know.
I mean, the technology is there, and it's good. So they could probably do a little bit of stuff with his face, but I don't think they're going to, because I think they're trying to separate it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I wish they'd done a little work to his prosthetic, maybe. But I don't know what they could have done. Honestly, nose, perhaps.
I don't know.
Chin.
But who was the
different
guy
chin,
that?
I don't know.
Who was the guy that actually looked like him? That you?
I can't remember the kid's name. Yeah,
The impersonator.
Yeah, he was
Anthony Ingruber, or
I
is that
can't
his
remember
name?
his name.
Anthony Ingruber.
I think
he
whoever it
plays
was, I don't
a young
remember.
Harrison Ford in Age of Adeline.
That's him.
That's the same guy you're thinking of. He
Man,
does.
I was like,
he does a good Harrison Ford impression. Yeah, absolutely.
His impressions are spot on.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't get something like that. But anyway,
I don't know. His acting ability, I don't know. But scar on the chin. You think they at least have to do that? Or, I mean, he could.
Yeah, I definitely. Think
he
so.
could have gotten the scar
later
between. films,
later. I guess
but
that's true.
Maybe it'll happen in the movie.
Yeah, it'd be good.
See, again, they probably will do that.
A
In the
good
movie.
indie reference and a good.
He hits his chin in the Falcon.
Oh my gosh! Oh, Chewie.
Did you ever read the Expanded Universe
Han Solo novel?
Legends novels? Han Solo. Did you read those?
Not all of them.
Oh,
the
okay.
Han Solo
Trilogy
novel?
there?
It was a trilogy.
No, I haven't read that.
Paradise Snare was one. I can't remember them all now,
Yeah.
but I read them all years ago. That was like one of the first Expanded Universe books I read. Part of after the Thrawn stuff, then there was the Han Solo stuff, and I feel like they're gonna. This seems like they're gonna do a lot of that, like the Woody Harrelson character. We looked him up in the book. His name was
Garrus Strike.
Strike. Yeah, I feel like that's the same kind of character. So I think they're gonna pull a lot of elements from that, to be honest, but. But because in that you got him freeing Chewbacca, him winning the Falcon, and I mean what was cool about that book, it went his entire life and ended. The third book ends with him in the cantina, seeing Obi-Wan and Luke walk in the cantina. It was really really neat.
That's cool.
All right, so that's it news wise. Basically,
go TMZ, look at all their other photos.
Yeah,
they look good though.
They're pretty good. The car he drives, you can get around to it. At first, you look at it. I don't know. Some people may get thrown up by the purple color of the car that he's driving, the speeder. I guess it will become that he's driving. Kind of like his little hot rod, his pre-Falcon ship. I suppose it's pretty cool. Might get some, as we've heard, American Graffiti style scenes. Maybe
that's definitely the vibe I got when I saw the photos.
Yeah, that'd be pretty funny.
It's going to be like maybe there's these like he's kind
drag
of like
races
drag racing, or he's just really into like speeders and flying. And I like that.
His character, as we've seen in the books and the comics, he's very much into racing.
Yes,
very much into it.
Oh, definitely in the later
talks about it. Bloodline
Jedi.
talks about it. And all kinds. Yeah. So maybe we'll see it. I think that'd be
so.
Cool.
Is this going to be based on those images? I mean, and feeling, is this going to be a very light, maybe even comedic?
I think it'll be
Star Wars?
Yeah,
Han Solo movie?
Yeah.
I think with the directors, you got to think it has to be.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I would.
Like Lego movie is hilarious.
Yeah.
But with the writers, the Kasdans, it's got to have some weight to it too. I think it's going to be
Very
dramatic.
true.
It's going to be a good combination, probably. I don't know.
Yeah.
It'd be cool. I'm excited. I am excited for it. I think it'll be a good movie, but I'll just have to come around to.
How much, Cody? How much screen time do you think Lando gets in this movie?
That's an interesting question, because originally I would think not much. I would think they limit it to maybe a first interaction, and then maybe he just meets him when they're playing the game. What is Sabacc, or what's the game they play? And maybe it's just that. But when you cast somebody like Donald Glover, somebody that looks, talk about how Alden doesn't look like Harrison Ford. Donald Glover could be young Lando.
I do buy him.
Oh yeah.
I think I would like him to have more screen time. But
Totally.
I just don't know how buddy they are before that interaction where he wins the Falcon from him. So
I think we do get a lot. They've been doing some shooting in Italy like a couple week and a half or so ago. They did some shooting for like 10 days, and people saw Donald Glover there with Alden and the rest of the cast. So and it was like in some not casino type of place for that where they would play Sabak. It was like outdoors and it looked very Star Warsy. So I think he's in it quite a bit.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know if the first time you saw him was the game. I don't know. It sounds like it could. It's what we always assumed. But reading Empire's End, there's an interlude with Lando.
Yeah. And Lobot,
and he just mentions how
returning to the Cloud City.
Exactly. It's cool.
It's awesome.
But Lando mentions how much history him and Han Solo have.
Correct.
Not just an interaction where he lost the Falcon, but sounds like
a long time.
Yeah, I got the idea that they've had a lot of adventures together.
I mean, Star Wars movies are ensemble casts. They always have, they have these trios of main cast members.
Yeah, I think he's in there a lot more than we think.
Yeah.
And I think, again, I've been harping on this for a long time. I think it's going to be a lot that we talk about when we do these commentaries over the course of the year. Mm-hmm. Just think after you watch this movie, how much the perception changes of Episode 5.
Yeah.
Right? Because right away when he looks up Lando, now the history that they're talking about.
That moment in the cockpit
go way back,
when
Lando
Chewie's, and he's like...
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure he forgot about that, right?
Forgot about
they're talking about that thing.
I mean, it changed. These movies are constantly changing.
Yeah.
How they're viewed.
Well,
and
Rogue
we're going to
One,
talk about that with Episode 4
the end
here
of Rogue
too.
One does it for the better.
Totally.
And I'm excited about that. I'm excited about what Han Solo could do for that.
I mean, Rebels is changing it. We're changing
Rebels
Episode
is
4
changing.
a lot.
Yep.
And
Rogue One too. It's changed Rogue
especially this next season.
One. Oh my gosh.
Season 4 of Rebels going to Yavin. I mean, it's like...
Yep.
Speaking of that, though, before we get into... I think is that all we... before we get into the Vanity Fair stuff?
The one last thing, somewhat Vanity Fair, but not Last Jedi related. For the third anthology film, Kathleen Kennedy mentioned that they'll make a final decision in June, but it's not said really that we will know in June. Is that right, Cody?
Yeah, I mean, basically, the writer asked Kathleen Kennedy about...
They better...
Oh, we know. We're not going to tell you. But what
I think what's really interesting is what she says is they haven't identified it yet. They're deciding they've got a couple things that they're circling, and then to paraphrase, she basically says we're making a decision between the two pretty shortly.
Yeah.
So they've got two already planned out that they're probably doing pre-production for, and it's just what do you think those two movies are?
Well, I think I'm still leaning towards the ones we've just rumored and heard about, which is a Boba Fett / bounty hunter based movie. I want more of a bounty hunter one, I think.
So basically the Trank movie that was going to happen.
Yeah, and I think I mentioned on here before, we've talked about it before, but did you ever read Shadows of the Empire?
The
book?
Yeah.
Yeah. So in that book, if you remember, he basically, when Boba Fett left Cloud City, the bounty hunters were after him because they wanted to steal, the Carbonite Han. So like that, even if it's that movie, I would be thrilled.
Just set in that,
that scene where he leaves.
You could do that too. I think.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
You don't need to show anybody else. You guys show Han Solo and Carbonite the whole time.
Yes,
a little Easter egg of
and he's Boba Fett's trying to get to Tatooine to deliver him, but you got Boss coming after you. You got Dengar, you got IG-88, Zuckuss, Forlom, even Cad. We talked about Cad Bane. Maybe he pops up, all these different bounty hunters just going one at a time after him.
Wouldn't it be the coolest?
Cad Bane in a movie, just
that's awesome. Wouldn't it be the coolest? And finally see IG-88 do stuff, not just stand there on Starter Store, but actually move and
Well, all these guys,
you think they'd CG?
Oh yeah, they would have to.
Oh yeah,
like K2SO, they'd have to do a little.
Yeah,
even Forlom, Forlom needs to move better than what he did there too. It's like. But any of those guys, we've never... we just haven't seen it. We've seen it in Rebel or Clone Wars.
Yeah, we saw Bosk and some of the
But live action, Django and maybe not, I was going to say
all the bounty hunters
not,
have been, actual actors in suits or makeup, whatever, or just Django and Boba.
And we didn't even see much of Boba Fett, honestly, except in 6, right? 5, he didn't do anything. Yeah. He just walked around. So to see them in all in action, that would be awesome. And then of course the second one, is Kenobi.
Kenobi.
Kenobi. I'm in right now. If you were to say make a bet, I gotta lean towards Kenobi because I feel like Ewan McGregor. I feel like every time Ewan McGregor gets picked about it, you can see that he's holding something back. You can see it in the interviews like, yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. I don't know.
They haven't called me or anything. I'm just like, this guy's totally lying, man. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
he did partial voice for Force Awakens that they combined with Alec Guinness.
Correct.
I mean,
Is he growing a goatee right now? Hasn't been going.
he's always
on
had
Fargo
kinda-
right now.
He's
so
on. Oh yeah, he's doing
he's not
Fargo right
doing
now.
any. Yeah, he'll be growing.
But they wouldn't go into production until 2018, 19 maybe.
How long it
unless
takes him
he
to grow.
already filmed a scene.
For eight.
For eight?
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Huge possibility.
But see, another side note though, I kind of feel like with Tarkin, the success of Tarkin, like I feel like they would Alec Guinness the Ghost.
It could, but get out.
Like a
Ewan
digital.
McGregor to act it out.
Maybe.
I think.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
would do
yeah. That's
that.
right. Yeah, it's true.
I feel like
Yeah.
he would do that.
To
But maybe,
voice it,
but they
maybe?
would maybe do his
Yeah.
face like Alec Guinness. Like, and I'd be totally fine with that.
I mean, that.
Sure.
I think that would be more believable because
Totally.
then you're using the Force Ghost, and it's there's a little.
So it'd be
discrepancy
easier
there,
to
yeah.
You just believe it, yeah.
mesh
Mesh
the
it together,
faces
yeah,
together.
yeah. Yoda this time would be a digital though,
Yeah.
right? Digital
Oh, yeah.
Ghost.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I I wanted it to be Kenobi, but I honestly feel like it might be the bounty.
You think it's
hunter.
going to be the bounty
I
hunter?
feel like it might be just because it's. I don't know why that they're not. I don't know. It just seems like they're backing away from Kenobi, maybe to just as a red herring to then like spring it on us. Oh, it is Kenobi. And then we're like, oh,
I'm
yay.
still,
Or-
and I was before you answer, Cody. The reason too. I forgot to mention this. The reason too I'm leaning towards Kenobi more is because I still believe they're working on a live action television show, which would make more sense to be a bounty hunter based underground.
Like the underworld.
Yes,
Yeah.
I still think that's in play, and it has to be even more in play because you can't tell me they're making a Star Trek TV series
yeah.
and they can't make a Star Wars TV
A
series.
Star Trek TV
Yeah.
series that uses costumes that look just like
Two,
Rey.
there's
Exactly,
two Rays on Jakku.
I mean, you can base it where the budgets are low enough for television.
Sure.
now,
Well,
right?
nowadays,
Or
yeah.
you can go to Netflix and then your budget is huge.
Yeah.
Totally. And the way, and I can be honest, and Star Trek looks like they're tying into the actual
It's a prequel. It's a
because it's the same font and everything from
I
the
think it's
Abrams
in the-
movies.
I think it's an Abrams verse, right?
Yes, I think they all
Is it?
are always connected.
I think
Well,
it ties in.
but
It's a
in this
prequel to
alternate
the-
reality,
to the
though.
TV, to the original TV shows. It's before
Oh,
all
really?
of those.
Okay,
it's
so-
like one
so
of
it's
the
in the old-
characters is like Spock's grandfather.
So it's in the original universe.
that's right.
The
That's
original
right.
reality, not the alternate reality. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Oh, really?
That's what I heard.
Now,
Well, it's all alternate now, though, right?
I mean, they could
The
say
timeline got reset. I mean, it's before
Abrams Trek.
Abrams
movie,
stuff,
yeah.
but it's before you're saying it's set long before,
Before
that.
the original.
Yeah.
TV
Yes,
series.
yes.
interesting.
Very interesting, but it looks good. It's the girl from Walking Dead.
Yeah.
is the
Sasha.
Yeah. And Michelle Yeoh was in the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
The girl was Crouching Tiger.
Mm.
So good actors, and like I said, the trailer looked phenomenal. I was like, come on, a Star Wars. That's really why I was thinking that because I feel like the bounty hunter thing is more based on that.
It would probably fit better there.
Yeah, totally. Because
I think it would.
that's what they talked about for years.
Or like always been wanting a Netflix show of Kenobi, do like 3 seasons.
I know.
Kenobi. Out.
But it's hard to pull Ewan
Yeah.
for that long. But I don't know. What do you think?
That's interesting. I mean, what I want it to be is the Kenobi movie.
Yeah.
That's what I want to be the next one. But what I think they will do is the bounty hunter film that
Boba Fett.
was the Josh Trank film.
Yeah.
Which either if that's a Boba Fett, if it's a multiple bounty hunter,
Yeah.
sort of Western style, I'm not sure, but I think they have more pre-production for that. I think they've already got a lot of work towards it.
Yeah, but he's off of it though.
He's
right?
off.
Yeah,
right,
he's
right.
off.
His
of it.
work, I guess, is still there, probably.
Yeah.
Is there a third option? I don't know. Is there some third possibility? Have you been hearing of anything? Or
I haven't heard anything, but I do know there's a lot of people that want, maybe it's just me, but a Knights of the Old Republic era.
Oh.
I'd love eventually
Yeah.
Star Wars to take an anthology
Eventually,
movie and
yes.
go
Yes, yes.
away from. They've only done things in the
Yeah.
current saga timeline. I'd love them to
Yeah.
new stories, new characters. You don't have to use any of the same characters
Yeah.
for any of those kind of movies. But would that be something that would work in like a Netflix show? Maybe that
Yeah,
would be
I think
more
that- I think so.
suited for that.
so it's like a slow start in, like like the Marvel TV shows that they did on Netflix. Like it's just like a little pocket universe over here of Star Wars. Yeah.
Well, as we, because this is actually one of my questions I was going to get into as we look at the 40th anniversary is, the future of Star Wars, like beyond this third anthology film and beyond Episode 9, because obviously since Lucasfilm sold to Disney, it's no secret. I mean, you can see it. They've been really relying on the original trilogy, centering around those stories to tell these new stories. The original cast, and then of course distill the whole Empire versus Rebellion, right? Even Episode 7 is still a continuation of the rebels against the Empire. I mean, the Resistance. Come on, it's like there's not even a Republic still, right? And it's funny because Empire's End, as well, it even starts then.
Oh yeah,
it's even starting then. The First Order.
Yep.
So, the question I was going to ask is, in the future, I mean, how long are they going to go until they actually go Knights of the Old Republic, or when do we start seeing fully new characters? Not Rey with Luke or anything like that, but like, when do we get away? Because when you ask that question, like, what would be another possibility? Because again, it seems like they're trying to still capitalize on popular characters, Boba Fett, Han Solo.
Yeah.
So I would say like the possibilities would be a Darth Maul movie, prequel of Darth Maul, or even during the Clone Wars or something like that. Sure. Mace Windu. Sam Jackson's even said, "I'll do it again." Right?
That comic is coming
exactly.
out.
The comic's coming in. So you have characters, even a Vader movie. You can do a Vader movies like all day.
People would go see that in just.
Oh my gosh! Especially like the comic coming out, like year one kind of stuff, like him hunting down Jedi.
Jedi Purge.
Oh my god! You can do 6-7 movies of just Vader, and people will go crazy. So it's like, but when is that gonna? When do you think it's ever gonna be just like 1,000 years before Episode 1?
Yeah.
Or 1,000 years after Episode 7? It's like. When will we ever see those stories?
I think so. I feel like the door will definitely open after the third anthology film kind of comes and goes.
Because that's after Episode 9, right? So
after the big slate of films,
2020, I guess. Yeah.
Well, I think it definitely opens the door for that. At least I hope.
What do you think is after 9? You think we have another trilogy with our Rey? Finn,
I know
and
that
Poe?
that's one of the. I feel like I've read somewhere that
those are the topics.
They want that, that they're talking about that. So they either could go just keep going past it with saga films and anthology films. Maybe they'll keep doing the 10, 11, 12, but in between start doing like Old Republic anthology films, or I'm still calling it anthology films. Star Wars stories.
Star Wars stories. Yeah.
But I hope it's soon. I really do. I think it's possible, and I think people, at least the avid fan base, I think is ready for it. I know, because I feel like too, one of my topics and kind of thoughts was also, are we tired of that? I mean, you're kind of hitting on that as well, Dave. Are we tired of that same old conflicts? And Cody, you talked about it, where it's the same stuff. So is the general public tired of it too? I mean. So this all kind of ties together. So are we going to see it? Is everybody tired of it?
I feel like they'll get there.
Yeah,
I do. I feel like. I mean, I think the excitement of, to be honest, like even in '99, the excitement of just a new trilogy when the prequels came out was just that it was new and it was different, and there's some throwbacks with young Obi-Wan and Yoda and all that stuff, but it's like. It was new stories, and obviously kids got all over it. People my age, obviously some didn't like it, some did. But either way, it fit into the story, right? Yeah. It completed Anakin's story at the time, right? But again, when Lucas sold, they knew what people wanted and were screaming about, and it was that group of the original cast, and that those stories still is what people remembered, So that's why I think obviously Rogue One did so well, because it really brought people back to that time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know when it's going to be. If 2020 people are going to be screaming for original, completely new content. Because think about it too. If you think about it, if they go to Knights of the Old Republic, I mean, you're not original yet because then you're kind of going
off of expanded universe material. There's a lot of characters to pull from, and we know that Star Wars has pulled from EU to now canonize characters that used to exist that were sort of nixed.
Filoni's a huge fan of that. And again, going back to Empire's End, there was one little nugget of information that I caught. Akbar's talking about, it's about the Battle of Jakku. And at this point in, I guess, the government of the New Republic, the military size of the New Republic is bigger than the remnant of the Empire. So Akbar's like, shouldn't we win this easily? But on second thought, not necessarily, because the rebels were much smaller than the Empire, and in history tells me that underdogs win a lot of the times, like rebels and Empire, or he mentioned Mandalorians against the Grand Army of the Republic, which I don't know if that relates to this current timeline or something prior. Which
no, man, that Mandalorian war was thousands, long
that's what I thought.
Time ago.
Which is
canon.
Legends. It's now canon.
Which is not
There's
canon.
another one he mentioned where he said he named it something. It was like Ghost something against the Sith army.
Yes.
I can't
remember
alluding
specifically.
to like the Great Sith War? Or is it?
It is.
Okay.
It
so
was.
that's one thing.
I mean,
that's what I'm coming to is like that's.
But we
canon.
saw that kind of in Rebels too,
exactly.
right? Yeah.
So I wonder if that's the same thing or not. Where you're talking about the end of season 2, right? It's season 2. Where
Yes, season
Maul,
2.
they're on Malachor
Yes.
5, I think that was the number of that. Where they're looking around, it's
that
like
big temple,
Pompeii almost.
that temple,
The temple. You see all these solidified, these
Ash.
these ash people.
Yeah.
And it's like, a great war happened here, and we kind of Dave and I theorized that it was the thought bomb that was in Legends.
Yes.
Which talking about Darth Bane and all that stuff, and that part wasn't confirmed, but there was a big Sith war, and so all this stuff from EU, from Legends, from Old Republic is coming together. It seems like so. I think they are hinting at stories to be told of that era, so it's just a matter of time before we actually get it.
I mean, I think it would be the perfect place to jump off of. Let's say you get to 9 and you need just sort of like a new story to gather time to either let the actors age to go into 10, 11, 12 or something, and you just take a break from the saga films and do something fresh, go way back, go to the Old Republic, go to, Great Sith War, something just, that we haven't seen yet. Yeah. I mean, I would definitely want to see that.
Yeah, I would too, because for me it would be still kind of fresh because I didn't play deep into the games.
Yeah.
I just know about the characters, so I don't know all the stories, and I don't think that they would ever technically make the games canon.
Right.
Like whatever's been out is not canon, but again, they would take Darth Revan or
probably
and make him canon.
They need to make Revan.
I know, right? A lot of people are screaming for that. So I do think that's possible. I mean, it just depends on. I think it just depends on what the story is and what the relevance is to the Star Wars universe, and as long as it doesn't repeat itself in a way, that it's the same story just told in a different era. Because I think they would make a mistake doing that. So I don't know, but to truly see all these Sith fighting all these Jedi.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, and that's what you remember that, and we talked about that too. About
we've been saying this about the Old Republic, with the Old Republic trailers, or
no, I'm talking about like what we talked about recently about Luke saying the Jedi. Like it's like, are you serious? Like the Jedi? When are the Jedi coming back?
Yeah.
Are they ever going to come back and be the Jedi like they were prior to Episode 1? It's like the Guardians of the Galaxy.
What? Guardians of the Galaxy.
I did not mean to say that actually like that, but yeah. But you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah,
I mean, they were the keepers of the peace, right?
Yeah.
It's like, will Star Wars, will the universe at this point ever get to that point again, where there's a whole new
it's interesting.
arsenal of Jedi?
It does break some of the, the Force is a myth, the Jedi being the underdog. Those have been the things that we've always like, oh, that's so cool. Jedi, what is a Jedi when you first see A New Hope? Lightsaber, what is the Force?
Yes.
All those questions you're finding out as you watch. And then now, we know what we've seen through all the movies thus far, but now we're seeing Rey go through some of these things like the Force. She asked that question, and
but now we know what it is already,
right?
And we know what it looked like in the height of their time, with the whole Jedi Order and a council, and it's like, I want to see more. I want to see more of that.
Yeah,
to be honest.
Like, to me, it is like a sense of like seeing Rey now. It's like, we want her to learn about the Jedi now because we know what's all there, like you said. So it's like a dramatic irony thing where like we know what's out there she doesn't know. It's like I'm so excited for her to learn all of that, but will she? I don't know. It's like it's all bets are off. Honestly, that's what we've been proven time and time again. Well, really, with Force Awakens, like what we thought was going to be was complete opposite.
Like I definitely think a Darth Bane movie is.
I think that's.
Is that? Yeah,
I hope so,
because they've made him canon now, and his whole storyline and the thousands of years. You know.
So would Mark Hamill play him because he did the voice in Clone
Wars?
Oh,
that's right. I forgot about that.
He did the voice?
He did.
He did the
voice.
voice.
I did not know. I don't know if I knew that. It was him.
Sure.
It wasn't Whitwer?
No, it was Mark Hamill.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is awesome. I did not. That is awesome. Wow. How did I not remember that?
I'll make sure.
But yeah, that whole Bane story, because there was a whole novel about that too, and he's always been intriguing. But yeah, I hope they get away from it, and I truly think you have to go in the past because of the possibilities of like a 10, 11, 12. You can't really,
which I think they're going to do another trilogy. I don't know if they
I don't know if they will. I'm not on that side yet.
Really.
That they're going to do it 10, 11, 12.
Okay, yeah. Would they ever do a trilogy, you think, of anthology films?
Yeah, I do think they could do that, for sure.
Yeah.
I think they could do a Vader trilogy or even a Yoda trilogy. Yoda, I mean, God, look how, you got 800 years of story there, right?
Yeah.
I would kill for that.
Little Padawan braid Yoda.
Yeah, because he's a mystery. They don't really know his species technically and where he's from.
I know, well, at least I know Hidalgo or someone said that they won't reveal that part, at least what species he is. But I guess they could still do a younger Yoda, just some intermittent story with Yoda.
Right.
Cool.
So what I was going to get into too on that whole, as we get into more of this Vanity Fair stuff, I don't know if you guys saw this, but someone put out there on social media that, did you see this thing with the picture of Benicio del Toro and the connection to Rebels?
Oh, the Ezra thing?
About his scar?
Yes.
I heard about
the scar? No, I just heard that people think he's Ezra, but I haven't heard any details because I thought, that's a cod swallop.
I heard about the scar.
Yeah. Is that a scar, though?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
He doesn't have blue hair.
Well,
I'll
true.
say that.
But here's the thing is the age makes sense. The age makes sense.
Yeah.
Because Benicio is definitely in his 50s, right? So Ezra would be in his 50s at that point, right? He'd be 50-something because he's 16, 17.
He's roughly Luke's age, and that's the whole thing.
Correct. Because he's about Luke's age. That's right. So he's about, and he's not, in the way he's dressed, he's like this outcast, right? This smuggler type.
Yeah.
Not the Sith that people had rumored about at first. So is it possible he goes into hiding? Like Ezra gets out of the rebellion and kind of goes like what Kanan did after the Clone Wars. Takes this different life and goes. I don't know. That is actually even besides the scar. Like the fact that it could be Ezra is a possibility. Because they haven't revealed his name fully either, right?
Yeah. I'd say possible, but improbable. Mostly because how Benicio del Toro's character is said as unnamed in the film. In the article, there's a little quote that basically says Benicio del Toro doesn't even really get a name in the movie. And he has this coded name that the filmmakers gave him, DJ.
Yeah.
And that leads me to believe if he was a character we knew, somebody would have to say his name. Right.
Or a fake name.
But maybe they haven't. Yeah, but maybe they didn't reveal. Obviously, put it in the script because they didn't want anybody to say it or talk about it, right? I mean,
But the again, we're talking about the Vanity Fair article here. If
Yeah.
you haven't read it, but yeah. So Benicio del Toro. It sounds like though that no one calls him a name. No one says like, oh hey,
Ezra.
Dan. Yeah. Hey
Yeah.
Ezra Bridger. Like no one calls him a name in the film. So how do they refer to him in the movie then? Is there a code name for this guy? You think? Or they
Nerf
just call him?
herder?
Yeah,
He looks like a nerf
grifter
herder.
or something. He does. Looks kind of scoundrel.
Scruffy looking.
yeah.
Like for him to have an impact, like a reveal like that, like oh, it's Ezra, or like one of the rumors is he's Duquesne, maybe he's Duquesne or whatever. You know, it's one of the cool things that Cody and I kind of talked about at the office. But
yeah.
but if that's the case, then he would have a name on set. Like does the Vanity? Like, I haven't read too much into it, but correct me if I'm wrong. Does the Vanity Fair article? They say that he doesn't have a name in the film, or that they just
Because no one says his name.
no, they say he goes unnamed in the film.
Goes unnamed.
But the filmmakers refer to him as DJ.
like he goes unnamed, and then no one calls him a name.
So I don't
right?
like.
Is
I
that what that
wanted him
means?
to be Duquesne.
Yeah.
The guy who stole the Falcon. 'Cause
Yeah.
I thought, oh, that'd be cool. He's coming
That'll
back to
tie
just
in.
get the Falcon, and then he's
Yeah.
this, smuggler kind of,
Little side story.
Yeah, B plot. But it sounds like if he doesn't get named, he can't be someone like a Duquesne
Exactly.
or an Ezra or somebody like important. He can be important to the story and further
Sure.
the plot. But is he just a scoundrel? A scruffy looking nerf herder.
Yeah, I mean, he can't even be called DJ in the movie because then his name would be DJ. That would be he would go named as DJ. But
So is he like an actual DJ? Like
that's what I actually wanted to take
disc
that.
jockey?
I wanted to take that picture and make like an album cover of it because he's very posed, like he would be in an album cover. It's like DJ's diddles. I don't know.
Or is he a dark Jedi?
Dark Jedi, DJ, Dark Jedi. Have you heard this, Dave?
Oh no.
DJ,
Really?
Dark Jedi.
Oh, well, see,
That's
that
what-
would fit more about the rumors
Yeah.
that he was, Sith or something like that, or
Yeah.
former
Yeah.
Sith.
So he's labeled as like a shady grifter, kind of an unscrupulous guy. So not sure what side he's on. He basically seems like a scoundrel kind of guy. Just this movie's scoundrel. So what's importance he has to the story? I don't know. Cody kind of told me about the the photo that Benicio del Toro's the set he's on. Some of the props behind him are very reminiscent of that freighter that Han Solo had in Force
I was actually
Awakens.
looking at something online and saw somebody had actually pointed this out, that there is a panel behind him on the set that looks, the set looks like it could be on a ship or something.
Yeah.
And there's a panel box that's the same one from, I think it's a freighter that Han and Chewie have.
Yeah, it was that big.
When
big
they
one that had the
when
smuggler freighter.
Yeah, when they first are introduced to Rey and Finn and everybody, and it's the same panel that Rey goes and she sees Finn on when he's getting kind of sucked away.
That camera whatever that camera monitor where she's trying to track him down with the Rathtar.
Yeah, so
looks
Casey and
similar.
I, we looked at it, and it's definitely either reusing a prop, because there's a subtle difference that you pointed
there's
out
some
on the
subtle
left
differences.
side of the console.
Aesthetic things, but
But could it be the same freighter that Han?
Yeah.
I mean, that freighter that Han and Rey and Chewie and Finn all left on the Falcon. It was the Guavian Death
Yeah.
Gang
Ganja
Yeah.
Club.
got eaten up.
Ganja Club.
And Ganja Club, they all got eaten up.
Yeah,
So-
true. Wow, that's right. Yeah.
I think that really makes me think. Yeah, he could be like a smuggler, scoundrel, kind of. But I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know how he gets tied into the story. I mean, that's more mystery now that they're not. If they had said like, oh, if he turned out to be like a first order guy, like a Snoke guy, then there would be a lot of mystery there. Honestly, not as much. But now there's like even more mystery. He doesn't have a name. Filmmakers call him DJ, and he looks like a scoundrel. Like, how does he fit? It's crazy.
Yeah. I don't
He's
know.
not Thrawn.
I mean, could he?
That's confirmed.
I mean, it's possible, right, that he could show up in one scene, but no one just everybody just knows who he is, and no one just calls his name out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, similar. I mean, no one called Boba Fett in episode 5.
Yeah. So do you think that the filmmakers and everybody that made the article are keeping information from us?
I
with
feel
this?
it. I feel that way
More so
yes.
than like he's just kind of an unnamed, like mysterious sort of, like who are we going to meet? Oh well, they never say. Maybe he's like
The guy,
man,
Yeah.
I don't know.
the unnamed guy.
Well, I mean, for a long time they didn't release
Lor Santeca.
exactly.
Yeah.
So everybody was like
Mind.
trying to make connection that maybe that's Kanan.
Yeah.
or so
He goes unnamed in Force Awakens, right?
he does.
Yeah.
Nobody ever says.
That's
Correct.
very
See?
true. That's
No one
true.
says his
That's a
name.
good
So you think
point.
they're still trying to figure out his name?
He goes on in the film, but he still has a name.
He has a name, but
Yeah.
but no one calls him by
I
his
mean,
name.
do you think they're still trying to figure out Benicio del Toro's character's name?
If he's
No,
like the-
I
if
think
he's
they
original.
know.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think he has a name.
Yeah.
They just not. They're
That's
just
so
either
true.
not releasing it yet, or it's not. He's just no one knows him because they don't say his name to him in the
Yeah.
film.
He could very well not call him Ezra, but allude that it could be Ezra. I'll give you that. That's possible.
Dark Jedi. Dark Jedi.
Ezra could have become a Dark
But
Jedi.
that's the thing right now, right? Is everybody's trying to find a connection to
Yeah, exactly.
the
'Cause
animated series. Like,
how-
where does
yeah.
the
unless Ezra just dies, then
yeah, exactly.
Where is he?
Exactly. Yep. Exactly. Because we know Hera survives.
at least
because she's in
survives.
Return of the Jedi, or she's
Yeah.
on Endor.
Apparently.
Apparently,
BB-8. Oh, not BB-8. Chopper survives.
Chopper survives. Zeb. He told us he's on
According
the Ghost
to
in Rogue
Steve
One.
Bloom.
Steve Bloom.
Yeah.
So and then when does Sabine's take place?
Sabine's. It
Do you
doesn't
know?
say
It
when
doesn't
it
say when it
does.
takes
It
place?
just says she's on Yavin, so probably Rogue One in
Yeah.
the Hope era.
So it's like, who are these guys? And then like there's this whole thing about who Agent Callus is.
Oh,
he's a guy in Rogue One, or he's a guy on
That's all fan theory, but
So anyway, there's always going to be that. But I do think, why you release Laura Dern's character name,
yeah.
Yeah.
but
Vice
you don't.
Admiral Emmeline Holdo,
Yeah, and she looks
very elegant,
Elegant,
for a Vice
phenomenal.
Admiral.
She looks like straight out of the Hunger Games.
That's true.
Very
Yeah,
true.
yeah, that's a good point.
Very Hunger Games.
Yeah, when you said like she's got purple hair, I didn't see the picture yet. I'm
Yeah.
like, really?
Yeah, she's not that
Because we thought it was going to be the blonde
Yvonne
from,
Verlaine.
Yeah,
she's not that
Leia's pilot, right?
But it's still Vice Admiral. She's very elegant looking for a Vice, more so than like Mon Mothma ever was.
Very much so. Yeah,
Admiral, that's military.
it is military.
So far, it's always been like a military. So she did not look military at all in that.
She's wearing a dress.
Maybe she'll.
So
be
she apparently was
hard to
not
fight
on
in that.
Hazian Prime
Nope. No.
when it got destroyed,
Yeah.
because the
She's
whole armada
probably at
apparently
a-
got wiped out then.
So
Is that Canto Bight?
She going to be the sort of leftover of the Republic that's trying to come in and
Quite possibly.
Yeah.
take some
Quite
leadership
possibly.
over from Leia. And
Now, do we know if Mothma's alive or not?
I know.
We
I
don't know
know
that, right?
I don't know that.
Yeah, we
I
don't know
if
if she's
no, not really.
We know she was ill.
Bloodline. She
From
was
Bloodline.
pretty sick. Yeah.
Yeah, but we don't know if she's alive or not during,
I don't know.
or if she was
7.
on Hosnium Prime.
or if she was on. She wasn't the chancellor. We know she wasn't the chancellor at that
Yeah.
time,
I wonder if that's
and we don't know how long she was the chancellor leading up to Bloodline. So I don't know. It's a good point. I don't know if she's. I don't think she's dead.
Let's see if Wikipedia has anything to say about this.
Yeah.
It doesn't say she died. So, as canon,
Yeah, I don't. It
say
hasn't.
she's
I don't
alive.
think there's
She's-
been a story
she's
yet
still
at
alive.
all, or any mention of that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, we got more pictures with, of course, the original, not the original, but the cast of the
that
main characters.
That shot of Mark and Carrie.
Oh man, yeah, that pulls at your heartstrings. And Carrie and her daughter.
Yes. Oh man.
Yeah. We got a lot of behind the scenes video and photo through that Vanity Fair article of the original cast and the new cast. The photos also showed the new character Rose, Kelly May Trainer,
Kelly Marie Tran.
Tran.
Mhm.
I'm thinking of Megan Trainer, maybe. I don't know.
So combining two
But
actresses.
so Rose, who's the technician kind of resistance person, but
Rose Tico. Is that her last name?
oh yeah, give her last name. But that article reemphasized that she's going to be tied pretty close to Finn and his story. They announced the character, but they didn't show her, Rose's older sister. And I forgot blank on the name. Paige sounds
I
right.
believe,
and she's closely tied to Poe. So I looked up the actress, and I can see her being like a love interest of Poe.
Yeah, there's a lot of little tidbits in that. If you haven't read the Vanity Fair article, I highly suggest you just read the whole thing through because it's just got a lot of little things like that where there's a little character they've kind of named and mentioned that'll be in 8. It's a great article. I mean, the photos are stunning.
Yes.
Photos of Luke and Rey
Yep.
standing on Octo.
Yes.
Awesome. The cover.
The training of Rey, that is awesome.
I love
man.
Rey with her lightsaber, she just looks elegant.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
And then Ray and Chewie's awkward pose in the Falcon cockpit.
I think Chewie's gained weight. I think he got into
Hey,
the secret stash
you
on
be
Octo.
about a 200-year-old Wookiee and try to keep off.
I know, right?
All right? It catches up.
Looks like he's gained weight.
Now we did learn. We learned in Empire's End. Did you that interlude with Kashyyyk and or was it
his life debt? I think with his child.
Yeah, was that Empire's End? That was in Empire's End.
Gosh, I think it's blurring. Yeah, it's Empire's End.
Yeah, it was
Early.
an interlude
Yeah.
with him going back to Kashyyyk, or him helping
Another
save his son.
Yeah,
So we know Chewie's truly got a family.
yeah.
and-
Well, I heard, and I was listening to the audiobook of the other novelization of A New Hope, that from another point of view, the Princess Farm Boy Scoundrel, whatever. In that, it mentions Chewie having a wife, Mala, which I think is the name of his wife from the
holiday special,
holiday special, right?
Probably.
But something, whatever, and I'm probably got the name wrong, but I think it was the same name. Could be totally wrong. But I was never fully sure if that was completely canon or not. But it sounds like, yeah, he does definitely.
No, yeah, he does have a
family.
family. Yeah, now he does. Yeah, so it's
So
awesome.
funny.
Did it mention what his son's name is?
It did.
It does
I
in
can't
there, but I
remember,
can't
yeah.
remember. Yeah,
Those
I should know
Wookiees
that.
have crazy
Yeah.
names. It's such a good photo. Yeah,
Yeah,
Poe
look at-
is very Han Solo-esque in
I
these
know.
photos. He's wearing, looks like his jacket, looks like his shirt.
Poe
Pulling
looked like
Orlando.
he just raided Han's
I
dress.
tell you, he's moving in. Like Oscar Isaac's.
But in the trailer, he's got this pilot outfit on.
He
You know?
changes
So
at
it's
some
like,
point. Well, Oscar Isaac said that he
and Finn really
he
likes that
has
jacket.
some. He must have stitched it up too, because it should have a slash up the middle of the
Yeah,
back.
it should be in two pieces.
So he
right?
likes it, so he got some.
Well, you know, Asians are pretty good sewers.
Oh, gosh.
So she probably just like sewed it up for him. You know,
get some of that prune juice out of it.
Casey, was it you that
for those,
mentioned
and those
that-
people, I'm Asian, so those people don't
Yeah.
think I'm being racist. Sorry.
That's what were you saying?
looking at the photo of Poe, Finn, and Rose here? Did you mention that she's the only one smiling?
She is the only
in
one smiling.
All the photos
She's a little smart.
And all of them?
of the
Yeah.
Vanity Fair
Oh, that's
article.
she
Those
is.
portraits, the
She's
covers,
the only happy one.
which I
That's
think
right.
actually tells of her character.
Because
I think-
again, Asian people are happy. We're happy people. I'm telling you.
I think that tells of her character, and like she will probably
Totally.
be the lighthearted.
I think so. I think so. I
But
kinda
she's a comedian.
I kind of see
by
her
trade.
inserted like Lando in episode 5, kind of,
Yeah.
you know, that extra character that
Yeah,
comes
yeah.
in and helps. And
She can betray Finn.
Well, her background is comedy as well.
what is that the rumor is that she's connected more to Finn? I mean, I know
that's what
she's
they say in the article. That
Yeah.
her story
she's a rebel,
outlines.
like
resistance.
resistance.
she's
yeah.
a maintenance
medic,
Maintenance.
or
That's what-
maintenance.
that's
That's,
what I was
right,
thinking, maintenance.
maintenance.
So her and Finn have a lot in common
Yeah.
that they.
That's
come
right.
from.
Yeah,
That's right.
they know how to work a broom.
Yeah,
But
that's hilarious.
No, kind of go back to, I was going to say, like Oscar Isaac mentioned how he's got some intimate scenes with Leia, some physical scenes, you know, because she slaps him a lot or whatever in one scene. But like, it sounds like he might be trying to move in on Leia. He's trying to dress like
Wow.
Han, act like Han. You
That's hilarious.
Maybe, I don't know.
Going after the older woman.
Going after the
Cougar.
lost her,
Yeah.
the widow,
He's
right?
he's moving in. He's
The
his
article,
opportunity. Rebound guy.
The
It's an
article did
important
say
role.
that Carrie Fisher, she really leaned into those slaps every
Yeah.
time she slapped
Yeah,
Oscar
yeah.
Isaac.
Yeah.
So
Hilarious.
she got a little enjoyment out of slapping him on set, which
Man,
sounds kind of fun.
that's going to be awesome.
That's a good movie.
What a movie coming. Yeah, then we got this. Yeah, this
Canto Bite. Is that what it's
Canto
called? The
Bite.
Casino Canto Bite.
Yeah,
A new city.
Which
a lot of crazy looking characters. in there, man.
all these aliens and creatures look so bizarre.
Yes, very bizarre.
Nothing that I recognize.
No.
Everybody thought that the tall
species.
horse person was a Bothan, but it's not a Bothan. Pablo Hidalgo actually preemptively
Oh my god!
said it wasn't a Bothan. But Pablo
Wow, it does
Hidalgo,
look like a horse.
he always changes his name, his Twitter name. And so as soon as this article leaked, he changed his name to not a Bothan. It's like, I'm just going to go ahead and say this right now before anybody even asks.
That's
It's not a
awesome.
It does
Bothan.
look like a Bothan. a
It
little
does.
bit, though.
I thought
It
it
does,
might have
yeah.
been, but I knew it probably wasn't.
Have we seen a Bothan in a movie?
I feel like we have, honestly. I thought I saw one in like the cantina.
Cantina?
I thought I saw one in I don't know, but I've seen one in the Legends. Like it's
Because it does
the
look like
artwork.
kind of a horse.
It does.
Kinda,
It's a
right?
long,
big
it's got
long
a
snout,
longer,
right?
I think of
you
a
know,
little more like
little hair.
I mean, there's
Yeah.
a card. There's a card in the card game that has a Bothan picture.
goat, like a goat horse kind of mix.
Yeah.
face, but
goat horse.
a goat horse.
Good horse.
But Canto Bite is very, again, with elegance. It's very different from what we've seen. And Ryan Johnson talked about it in the article where we've never seen that in Star Wars. We've never seen the rich, the opulent.
That's very true.
We've seen Coruscant.
True.
And that's been
We've seen
more
cities.
the government,
We've
the
seen the outside.
politicians.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
even if you think about
That's a Bothan. Yep.
I mean, that
and that's, I think that's
very similar.
Boris Falia from Legends.
Bothan seem to have a lot more hair.
Yeah,
They do.
They have a
Facial
little-
hair.
But that one's got chin hair right there, right?
Little chin,
He's got
little
chin
scruff.
hair.
But it's
Yeah,
not
I mean, they
a
can
Bothan.
shave, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, like Ryan Johnson wanted this to be that side, not the politics side, but the more just the rich, just wealthy, up the butt people.
Well,
Nice.
his quote, I won't quote him directly because
Yeah,
there's a
he
curse
cusses.
word in it.
It's
But
a family show.
I
said butt.
he says it's a playground for rich buttholes.
Yes.
but he doesn't say butt.
Yeah. Oh boy. Naughty. Yeah. So it's
That's funny. Someone
will
made
we
this-
get casino scenes.
Someone
or
made this
poker
graphic.
scenes? What's that? You can
Bothans
see,
do not die here.
Exactly. Bothans
die
do not
here.
die. They die here. Yeah.
Because that story of them stealing the plans is in Shadows of the Empire.
Okay.
So
That's hilarious.
yeah, that's hilarious.
But were we gonna see like a James Bond-esque like poker, sabak, Dajark, whatever, Pazak, whatever kind of game in this movie? Like, I don't know.
In the Han Solo movie?
No, in this. In
This movie. Oh, yeah.
Canto Bight.
Casino?
Are we gonna
Yeah.
see some
Well,
gambling?
are you at the Empire's End chapter with Palpatine?
Where he just talked with Gallus Rax.
Yes. Wait, the second scene, where Gallus Rax is a boy and he's
On the Imperialis? Where he's on a ship saying, like, yeah, you have a destiny past Jakku or past the, like, I don't know.
well, no, when it's towards the end where they talk about the game. There's a game board in front
Oh,
of
yeah,
them.
the Jark. Yeah,
Yes.
the Jark game. Yeah.
Well, it's called something. They call it Salak or something like that. or-
That's a different. It's the same game, but it's a different name.
well, yeah, it's different versions.
Yeah,
There's different versions.
You just reminded me of a point that I wanted to talk about with that. Honestly.
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
If we want to go ahead and interject with that, I don't know.
Why not?
Well, okay, sorry, guys. Total 180, but I totally forgot. So Empire's End, yeah, there's a scene with Palpatine where he talks about the game, the Jark, but he mentions it in a very strange way. I don't know if I can pull up fast enough on the book here, but he says he's known of this game, and he says the game that he's known throughout eons has been called different names.
Yes.
Jark, this thing, but the way he phrased it made it sound like he himself has witnessed this name being changed across eons, as if he has lived
Oh, really?
across eons of time. It was really weird phrasing.
I didn't get that out of the audiobook. I got that he was explaining the strategy of the game, but the game has to me. I thought I got it that it wasn't the same game. That there were similar games, different versions of the same
I need to
game.
pull that up.
Jajaric, because he
really
mentions
crazy.
Jajaric being one of them, because this had pieces like chess pieces, where Jajaric we know is like
Yes.
holograms. So it's the same type of strategies and what you do with the character or the pawns or pieces, but there's different rules because he was trying to teach this kid what to do after the Emperor falls. Like the whole point of the game is to, I don't want to give too much away, but the whole point of the game is to kill the Emperor. Or the Imperatus, or whatever he calls it, Imperatus, or something like that. And he's trying to teach him, like, well, what happens what happens to the game board if the Emperor falls? You know, and like he's trying to teach. It's really cool scene. It's
A lot
an
of
awesome
subtext
scene.
in
Oh
that,
my
yeah.
gosh, so good.
I can write it around here. I'm trying to find it.
But I felt like he was
It's killing
explaining
me.
that there was different versions of this game, but they all had the same kind of premise. You know what I mean? But I didn't really get that he had said that. But maybe
I'm so close. I can't believe I'm not finding here. I'm really trying to find the excerpt here. This is killing me. I'm at the interlude, but
just remember, well, because you haven't read it yet, right? But remember, if it ever comes up, remember the name Gallius Rax.
Yeah.
Because this guy, I don't know where it's going,
okay,
but
here it is. Yeah,
this guy is, he's fierce, man.
yeah. So they pulled up the game. And he asked Gallius Rax. Galley said, "Do you know this game, Galley?" He says, "I don't." Palpatine says, "No, I suppose you wouldn't. It's a very old game. Shatez.
Shatez,
That's how
yeah.
I'm saying it. In this iteration, though over the eons, I have seen it spawn many variants: Dajark, Mobius, chess, and in most
chess. The chess is in Star Wars.
in most of the iterations, the core mechanisms mechanism remains. But yeah, he says, I mean, it's just, again,
That is
too
true.
much. Though over the eons, I have seen it spawn many variants.
Okay, see, I didn't read that like that, but that is intriguing.
Interesting.
Might be reading too much into it.
Eons.
but How long is it?
Yeah, how long is an eon?
I don't know.
Anyways,
It's a long time.
Wow.
food for thought.
Very, very food for thought.
Sorry. Tangent. Back to Variety.
Vanity.
Whatever, Vanity Fair. Whatever. Vanity
Canto
Fair.
Bite.
Canto Bite.
Canto Bite.
Yeah, we have to figure
This is interesting. In the article about Canto Bite, it mentions that Rose and Finn's adventures takes them to, among other places, another Johnson invention, glittering casino city called Canto Bite. So, pretty much says in the article that we see Rose and Finn
They
go
go
to
there. Yeah.
Canto Bite.
Man, they go everywhere. He's supposed to be undercover First Order, and he's going to Canto Bite.
Isn't it? I know we'll get into this more when the movie comes out, but it's like, isn't it somewhat strange that, I mean, the entire government and military has been destroyed, but there's people still hanging out at casinos and having a nightlife.
Well, these people, the rich,
they're not
they probably
running
don't
and
care.
hiding and like.
I wonder where Canto Bite is.
Yeah, the rich, these people, the rich, they probably don't care. I mean, they got the money. They probably doesn't matter who rules the galaxy. They still get to do what they do.
Yeah.
And that is kind of where I've realized we are in the Star Wars universe. Reading Bloodline, it's like some people believe that, like, I don't care if it's the Empire, I don't care if it's
Well, that's true. That's
if
very
it's
true.
Republic.
Let
like,
them
it doesn't
fight.
matter. Yeah,
Let them fight.
Let them fight.
It's not going to bother me.
I guess a lot of them probably been through a large civil war
Yeah.
of the Republic fighting the Empire,
Yeah.
the Republic taking over, and then the First Order now coming
Yeah.
out of it. I guess a lot of people, would it be fair to say, don't know about the First Order?
Right now,
like people like citizens on like Canto Bite and other things, like they might not have as big a
I think
perception as the
I think-
Resistance, because it made it seem like the Resistance was like this, Leia, going starting this Resistance was kind of like a
No, people
frowned
knew
upon
about the
thing.
First Order. The government knew about the First Order.
the government does. Yeah, that is a good point to say. Of course, across the
But how
whole
much
galaxy.
of a threat did the citizens feel? Probably
Yeah.
not as much.
Well, they don't have control over planets like the Empire did. So
No occupancy.
At this point, yeah, it's,
no one knows even how big they are. At that
exactly.
point.
The First Order is very much like terrorists across the galaxy right now, thinking that they are right, it's in their own way. But again, reading through the books, a lot of people believe in the Empire. A lot of citizens believe in the Empire.
A lot of them did.
So these rich people, maybe they believe in the Empire,
And even
or they just don't matter.
and
to
even
them.
officers in the Empire
yeah,
believed that some of it, what Palpatine wasn't necessarily right, but that it could have been structured in a way
Yeah.
that was better.
like there was a quote from Empire's End that I wanted to write down or at least remember, because it specifically lays out Ray Sloane's talking about her idea of it's like they brought order to chaos. That's the whole point of the Empire.
Yes.
It's order to the chaos. It's safety. It's peace. Like that sounds great.
It
That
does.
sounds like a good thing.
But there was
But it's
something.
how they go about
she
it.
said there were some things that
Yeah.
that need to be different than what Palpatine was running, and it was like she kept saying, "My empire would be this. My empire.
My new Empire.
I was going to quote the same thing. Can bring peace and
Yeah. Your new Empire. Sorry.
It makes you wonder, like Vader and Luke maybe could have done better.
Vader probably, Vader and Padme, when he's like,
Rule. We can rule the galaxy. We can do what we want. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
It's just,
anyway.
it's so interesting to me.
That
Just
is
the whole
interesting.
the new perspective on the Empire, honestly.
I mean, I guess all these
Could have
really,
worked.
really rich people probably see themselves as being like just above all of that.
Very much like the rich of today, the celebrity, they could buy out whatever trouble.
Doesn't matter
they can
who
go above
the
it. Sure.
president is. Doesn't matter who's in charge
Yeah.
because I'm
The 1%.
Yeah.
That's right. That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Cool.
there's obviously a lot less of them than there are the rest of the galaxy that's under.
I wonder if they're on
Unless
Coruscant.
maybe the war comes to Canto Bite.
I hope they
Yeah.
show Coruscant again. I mean,
Yeah.
I really liked Coruscant.
Yeah.
I mean,
Maybe we'll go to Coruscant in the Han Solo movie because the Falcon.
he does a lot of he's on Coruscant a lot.
Yeah.
in the
Falcon
book-
at
in
some
those
point
books.
was on
What
Coruscant.
what timeline? What movie does the Falcon
It was Revenge of the Sith.
land on Coruscant?
Revenge of the Sith, yeah.
Revenge of
So
the
Han would have been a kid. He wouldn't. Lando
Yeah.
would have had it either.
It would have been
Someone else had it.
okay. Yeah, maybe not.
But maybe he'd stay there for a while. Maybe that's where he
Yeah,
plays
he's
Sabak.
like, is
I
he
don't know.
9? He's 9 at that point, right?
Probably.
Yeah, something like that, like 9, 10.
Yeah, about 10, 9 or 10. Yeah.
Yeah, he's. I lost my thought, but what do you? Yeah, droids. Yeah, the shot at Anthony Daniels.
No new droids. Still a BB-8. But great photos. Go to Vanity Fair. Watch the videos. Look at the photos, man.
That's a great picture there with
such good stuff.
Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher, Ryan Johnson and Kathleen Kennedy
and
with Gary Fisher and Hamill's dog.
It alludes to scenes like of Mark Hamill with Leia or Luke and Leia somewhere. Maybe the
I definitely think they're together.
Well, I'm pretty sure I read that they have a big scene. Like it was.
I hope that was filmed. Before her passing.
Yeah.
Like I hope.
I'm pretty sure.
Well, she did all the.
She's done with all her filming, but again, I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that
like
they
a scene with
scene.
Luke.
Yeah.
Just not knowing where the story's going to take us if they're going to be reunited. And,
very cool.
It's interesting.
Reunited.
That's exactly what's going to happen. Reunited.
All right, so I did want to get through just a couple of quick questions.
Sure.
You don't have to allude on these because these are more shorter answers now because we're getting a little late on this. But so Vanity Fair, where everything.
Yep, we're good.
So go check that out. Is the magazine even out?
Not
yet.
No.
I don't think that
magazine's out on newsstands. I think either today, like New York, LA, larger markets, Chicago. I think everywhere else. I think it'll be around June 6th in the U.S. Maybe. Not sure about overseas.
4 different covers. So I'm sure.
Very
people
cool.
Will collect them all.
Gotta get them all.
Got to get them all. Speaking of, real quick too, the Smuggler's Bounty this week that I got. Oh man, have you seen it? It's got the Luke Landspeeder.
Oh, okay.
Pop.
Yep.
Oh man, look at that box. It's huge. So awesome. So awesome. I think I'm gonna buy another one so I can take one out of the box. Anyway, so it really just I wanted to kind of hit these last couple questions before we wrap up here on celebrating the 40 years. So real quick, first time you guys saw a Star Wars film.
Oh my gosh, I can't nail it down.
You don't remember?
It's as long as back as I can remember. The earliest I can think of.
Was it Star Wars or was it something else? Was it Episode 4?
This is my first introduction to Star Wars.
First time you ever saw Star Wars.
Oh man,
Or a Star Wars film. Because my first was I saw Return of the Jedi in the theater.
Yeah,
that was my first film.
See, I think I probably played with the toys before I even saw the movies.
So you don't remember when you saw the movie?
Honestly, it's one of those things where I don't really remember the first time sitting down because I had a lot of older siblings. So, I mean, I could have sat down and watched them, when I was too young to really even probably watch Star Wars.
Yeah.
And just kind of one of those things where it feels like it's ingrained.
Yeah.
Because all my, my brothers had toys and I got, them passed down and I played with all those and then watched the movies and watched them with them. I do remember vividly when I was young, I would watch Return of the Jedi as I would go to bed, just every night, just pop the VCR, rewind it, and I'd always get to, for some reason, I always remember getting to that scene where, Yoda's laying there in his hut, and he's, gonna go, fall asleep into the forest. Rest.
Yeah.
That's the scene that, I always got to for some reason. So that's the
and
biggest...
then you would fall asleep?
Yeah, that's the biggest memory I have is just watching the movie up to that point.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times, but I can't remember.
I can't.
The first time.
Okay, so on top of that, though, then when did you?
What about you?
Well,
Return of the Jedi was
the first one.
Was the first one I saw it in the theater. I think somewhere in the late '80s we got the VHSs. And then I remember watching Star Wars for the first time, and then Empire, and then Jedi again.
Yeah.
But Jedi, it was funny because when I vaguely remember seeing it. Thinking it was awesome, but not really know what was going on, because I hadn't seen the previous one. I just saw Luke with a green lightsaber, oh my God. But the question is, though, because to me, it wasn't at that moment. When did you actually fall in love with Star Wars? When did you realize, because I'll tell you an example. For me, to be honest, when I truly fell in love with Star Wars, I will never forget this because again I watched it through the late 80s, but see, once it got into the 90s, I was going to high school and all this stuff. It's I kind of lost. I didn't lose it, but I just didn't watch it a lot. Right?
Yeah.
I was playing sports and doing all this stuff in high school. But I remember going to college, and so I went to college in '96, and I met a couple guys at college that were huge Star Wars fans. So finally, because guys I hung out with high school really weren't Star Wars fans. Like, I didn't find anybody that was a big geek like I was. College, though, there's a couple guys I ran into that they were like, I mean, he had like, Star Wars notebooks and stuff like that. I'm like, oh my God, this is awesome. So I remember sitting in a theater. I remember sitting in a theater in 1996, and I can't remember what movie. I want to say it might have been Dumb and Dumber, or was it a comedy, or Ace Ventura or something like that. But the trailer for the special editions.
Oh yeah,
and it was the most brilliant marketing campaign. I think one of the most brilliant ever. Do you remember it had the little screen, and it said for an entire generation, this Star Wars has only been experienced in one way, the TV screen.
Yeah.
But if you've only seen it this way, you haven't seen it at all. And then this X-Wing comes busting out of it, full screen in the theater. And I was like, oh my. And then the whole new scenes, Jabba being in it. I'm like, this is incredible. I mean, I remember right then, I got my old VHSs out. I was watching those, preparing for the special editions. And when the special editions came out, 97 was January, episode 4, February, episode 5.
Yeah.
And I remember going then, and that was the first time I saw Star Wars episode 4 in the widescreen. And that's the thing about widescreen. I didn't even know there was extra footage.
Yeah.
Because I only saw on pan and scan.
On the sides, yeah.
So when there's like all these extra stormtroopers, and I'm like,
on the left and right side of the screen.
Like, what the heck?
I don't remember them.
Yeah.
I don't remember them being in there. Even Return of the Jedi, I don't remember. So that was when I truly fell in love with Star Wars. Was when I saw episode 4 on the big screen, special editions. And I've been just engulfed in Star, obviously, and since then. And then obviously after that, learning that there was a prequels coming, and I was like, what? And I remember StarWars.com launched, and it was really big, and you can join Hyperspace Club and see behind the scenes as they were making episode 1. I mean, it was just, I was done then. I don't know. So that was my long answer, but that was when it really, truly hit me.
Yeah.
Well, this kind of ties actually with your first question there, because I must have seen Star Wars before the special edition came out, because I remember at my house here in Versailles, though, I think I was watching Empire on TV. It was just on. It was the Wampa cave scene. I remember watching it just on the couch.
And never seeing the monster?
Well, yeah, I saw moments. I'm like, wait a minute, that seems new to me. Like, I don't remember seeing that ever before. And then, so that is a clear memory in my head. So that must have been, I must have seen it before, because I would never have known there was new footage.
Well, here's the thing. So here's the thing is that
I watched the special edition on TV.
Prior to the release of the special edition in theaters, they released the VHSs for the last time of the originals.
So I must have seen that.
So yes, that's what you saw. You watched probably the old the original version of Empire before the special editions.
So the special editions came out in 97, is that right?
Yes.
So I must have seen Star Wars before I was 6 years old, because I would not have known that was new footage otherwise. But because that is a clear memory in my head of seeing that. But then I got the special editions on VHS from Kmart here in Versailles, and I remember playing with the box and making the fart sound when you close it.
Yeah,
it made that sound.
I have vivid memories of that special edition box. Not the fart sounds as much.
Yeah, it was so funny. It can make a fart sound.
My siblings must have probably had another.
Yeah, your siblings
VHS
are older. You have 2 older brothers.
Maybe they still have them. Maybe I should dig them up and see if they've got them.
Have you ever talked to your oldest brother about? Because he had to
not to know if he has them. If he has a copy of
his
them.
earliest memories of Star Wars, because he must have had some kind of experience. I don't know. He was because he was in that. He must have grown up in that.
How old is he?
Dark times of a Star Wars fan.
I mean, he's got to be close to 39. He might be close to 40.
So my age.
So.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, what his experience are. But no, so the first time, I was always in love with it. Of course, I had Star Wars birthday parties. I got the toys with lightsaber battles in my backyard. And for my 8th birthday party, I think, maybe the 7th, we would project the original films on a wall of our living room and watch it. So I was always in it. Mm-hmm. Corey, my brother, and I. Corey and one of his friends created what we called Jedi Morning, Jedi Night, Jedi Morning, and we trained. And Corey trained me to become a Jedi Morning, and then you become a Jedi Night. So we made up our own our
That's
own
good.
academy that way.
That's awesome.
Nice.
But probably when I really got just engulfed in absolutely everything about it, maybe was when I discovered the books and actually read my first EU Legends book, which was the Thrawn trilogy. So I was at my buddy Adam's house, and I felt like I always went to sleep.
This is after the prequels?
This is during I was in middle school, so this is during the prequels.
During the prequels?
I saw
2000,
episode
2001.
1 in theaters twice, loved it. Episode 2, I actually wasn't a big fan of when I first saw it because I was a kid and I didn't care about love stories. So around episode 2, around Attack of the Clones time, I was at my friend's house. He was asleep, so I was still wide awake, in his bedroom. So he read all
Snooped
the books.
around his bookstore.
Yeah, he read all the
bookshelf.
books, every single book. He's a crazy avid reader.
Yeah.
So I've always seen those books on the show. So I pulled the only one I pulled was the Thrawn trilogy because he told me if I had to ever start with that one. So I pulled it, just started reading it at night, and I was like, I can't stop. This is amazing. So I kept reading them ever since, and then now I'm.
Yeah, I think Adam read 3 books while we were waiting in line.
Yeah, he never stops. He never stops reading. That's
awesome.
career right now as a student.
So that's interesting. Expanding universe. That
escalated my fandom. Definitely, I was a pretty big fan, but the expanding universe definitely escalated it.
Nice.
Yeah. We kind of same age, kind of have similar experiences watching. I mean, it's that question you asked was interesting. I hadn't thought about it in a while. When was the first time I watched it?
Yeah.
But I think it was one of those things where I was always engrossed in it because I probably interacted with merchandise before I saw the movies, which is just an interesting way to.
Well, a lot of kids. That's the only way.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I still have some of those. I don't know if they came out in the 80s or 90s. Those bendable Star Wars action figures, and then I have some of the ones. The
Kenner
old
ones.
Kenner ones.
Not the Kenner ones. There's maybe one
the
or
old
two
ones
that my brother has.
Yeah.
But I have some of the bendable figures that I still have. I've got some of the ones from the 90s.
You guys were Power of the Force.
Power of the Force.
That was the one that was big, where everybody had like a really big
balls. Yes.
But yeah, I mean, I watched Return of the Jedi just on repeat, and I remember getting that the trilogy box set, the VHS out a lot, and I think it was for me. I'd watched the originals multiple times before I saw Episode 1, but Episode 1 came out 99. So I mean, I was 8 or 9 years old, and I probably saw that movie in the theaters like 6 times.
Yeah.
Like way too many times for a really young kid. Luckily, my parents, I just kept asking them. They're like, we'll go see Star Wars again. Because I just kept asking, and then it was one of those things where I just, I went and watched the movie and I loved it, and around the same age as Anakin, when he was a pod racer. And
oh gosh,
so it's all this wanting to just take that and just continue to be in that world, and I just always was playing lightsabers and playing with my older brother. One of my brothers would always play with the Darth Vader's lightsaber, and I had Luke's lightsaber. I'd always be like, "Oh, you hit too hard."
The ones that don't go in all the way.
He'd hit my hands, and I'd
he'd get mad.
Get mad at him.
That's great.
He hit kind of like Kylo, so
he just slammed at you.
But I mean, it was probably Episode 1, and then there was a little bit of drop off in high school.
Yeah.
Around that time, I'd watched all the prequels, and then there weren't any movies coming out. Got into school and sports and some different things, and then it's probably digging around into different EU stuff. And for me, it was a lot of I always just like to research on the internet different things, and I try to read some of the novels, some of the EU novels when they were out, and some of the new canon ones now, or do audiobooks. But sometimes I just like to Wikipedia and just I don't know about this character, let me read about their story or their backstory, because I'm just interested and want to know more. And for me, it was around the time I was like joking with one of my friends, we should make a Star Wars movie, because there weren't any coming out. I found this character that I was really excited about, and he was Ulic Qel-Droma, if you know some of the expanded universe characters. And I was like, oh, wouldn't he be a cool character to make a movie about? Because he has to, he starts on the light side, he goes to the dark. It's kind of like a Anakin Vader thing where he ends up, redemption is kind of like his final act that he does. But knowing that I was so into Star Wars that I was researching and like looking up things about a character, wanting to make a movie about him, was probably that moment where I was like, I'm pretty into this thing called Star Wars.
That's awesome.
I remember like just a random memory popped in. Like, I was so engulfed like around the Episode 3, I guess, time period. I was also on StarWars.com. I wasn't subscribed to Hyperspace because it was expensive for me. But I was still on the forums around then. And this was around the time of the whole Janet Jackson Super Bowl thing happened. Where like,
right.
I
Yeah.
didn't watch the Super Bowl because I was
That's
upstairs on StarWars.com reading the forums about episode 3 and trying to like, so I was so.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, it was pretty. Yeah, and my uncle, Uncle Jamie, not you, Dave. He collected a lot of the old toys.
Yes,
and so he kind of introduced. And
That's
same
right.
with you, Cody. Like we had a lot of the toys like that growing up, and he had that. I think he had the C-3PO toy holder.
Yeah,
I think Corey, or he might have had the Darth Vader. I don't know, because Corey, we found one at our local flea market, like one of those as well, and we got that. But so we still had like the old. I think it was Obi-Wan. The straight arms with the lightsaber comes out the arm. You pull the
but
thing.
yeah, that definitely.
Yeah, and it lights up a little bit. When you,
Well, this one didn't light
The
up,
original
but,
one
yeah.
didn't.
But then we also like Leia, the Bespin Cloud City
Outfit,
Leia
yeah.
with the vinyl jacket. But yeah, it's cool. Good memories.
It surprised you that I didn't own a single Star Wars toy in the 80s.
You were into like Transformers and
Toy wise, I was Transformers
Yeah.
and G.I.
Oh, wow.
Joe and Masters of the Universe.
so you making up for lost time in this room?
Yeah, exactly, right? I have more
Yeah.
toys now.
around
But
us.
here's the thing, but the reasoning was like I just didn't consider Star Wars like something you play with.
Mm-hmm.
Like I consider Star Wars as this epic story, movie, that I just enjoyed watching.
Yeah.
I didn't want to play with it,
Yeah.
and it was so weird because I just don't remember going in a toy store and seeing Star Wars and being like, oh my gosh, I need to have that. I was like, no, I want Optimus Prime. I wanted to play with that. I didn't. It was just weird, and I don't know what I don't know why that was, but yeah, now I collect the toys now. It's like I don't.
But
I do play with them,
But you
then,
treat it like other guys who grew up with the originals, like them. They like to keep it in the box. They don't like to get it out of the box and play with it. It's just funny.
I don't. Yeah, I have boxed toys on my shelf.
That's there's a funny.
If I want to take it
SNL.
out, I buy a second one.
There's a good SNL thing with that. I think you've all seen it.
I have. Yeah,
The young kids playing with it and the older guys playing with it. It's like, or you keep it in the box.
Or leave it in the
that
box.
is hilarious. Yeah, totally.
Let's play with it.
Yeah,
last-
Or let's put it on the shelf.
So last question before we wrap up, real simple. In celebration of episode 4, best part of the film for you.
Okay. Oof. I gotta think.
Best
about
scene, best
I
part
had
of
it playing on today at the office.
episode. Oh, you did?
We
Nice.
did.
I was,
I thought I heard it. I thought I heard the
It was
music
on,
going.
and I was in the room. I started
Yeah,
the movie, and
I
then
wasn't in the room, really.
work, things happen. I
Yeah.
was in and out of the room, but
favorite scene. I had to cut out some thinking time. Cut out
Favorite
from the-
scene.
from
Well,
the
I'll
show.
say
Yeah.
mine. Mine episode 4. I think mine episode 4 would have to be probably just the most memorable part is just the whole binary sunset thing. Like I think when you learn about when he learns about the Leia or whatever, but him just all that all the stuff that happened with his dad and all this stuff, whatever he learns about with Owen keeping him there and all, I don't know, just that whole build up and then the music and the scenery. It's like, I mean, it's incredible. And it's funny because in that Instagram thing I was talking about with the dates, it says in there like John Williams didn't start scoring it until in March of '77.
Oh, wow.
So literally like a month and a half before that first screening, May 1st.
Yeah.
So to think that he created that binary sunset song like in that short time frame, it's like
In 2 months, he's created something. He created a legacy in 2
Oh,
months.
my gosh,
2
yeah.
months. That's crazy. I might have mine, but I gotta think about it more, dude.
I've got mine.
Yeah, okay.
For me, currently, when I first watched the film, it was probably way different. But currently, my favorite scene in New Hope is when Luke and 3PO are with Obi-Wan in his little hut.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Obi-Wan, goes over to this little box and pulls out a lightsaber. It's like, this is your father's lightsaber.
Yeah.
He wanted you to have it when you're old enough. And, he kind of just drops, oh, you fought in the Clone Wars?
Yeah.
With my father? Like, in a line like that. Talk about world building.
Yeah.
And just a simple line that kind of gets brushed over.
very true.
And then now to this day, we've got,
A whole series.
8 movies now, with another one on the way, and then we've got a Clone Wars series that spun off just from that little
line,
dialogue line, and just the mystical part of the Force, and him seeing the lightsaber and getting that, and that sort of just passing it on. I think it's just really interesting, and just kind of him wanting to learn about his father in that scene too.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Because he just wants to know. He wants answers at that point in his life, and I just think it's a really, really good scene.
And what's even intriguing too about that with Alec Guinness is like when he asks, "How did my father die?"
Yeah.
Like you see the hesitation.
Yeah.
And it's like it's like the prequels had happened in his mind.
Someone cut that a little bit. So on YouTube, there's a video where someone made that kind of edit where they would splice it throughout, like then that pause that you just mentioned, like they would flash back to something in the prequels. And then as he's like telling that story, they would cut periodically back to the prequels of how it actually happened. I got to find it and show it to you. But yeah.
Oh, wow.
But correct me if I'm wrong, that is also the same scene where we find out C-3PO turns himself off because...
I was about to say, let's save that for next episode because that's a whole conversation.
Never mind that.
Yeah, that does happen in that scene.
Yes, that is a scene.
Okay, I think mine might... I mean... Those both, I was actually thinking of both of those scenes, but I think mine might be the Vader Obi-Wan fight and just that whole thing, and Vader sacrificing himself. Maybe really more so now, because again, that perspective of that scene has changed.
Absolutely.
Because of Revenge of the Sith, because even, I don't know, everything, even the brief moment of Obi-Wan in Rebels now. Like, everything we know about Obi-Wan and Anakin just culminates in that scene, and there's so much more context to it now. So, and then his relationship with Luke and just what it means with that too. It's very it's very good. It's very, now it's in a very emotional scene. Whereas maybe the first time you saw it, I wasn't as attached to it. I guess now I am.
It's crazy because I was walking through the office as that scene. I was walking through. We had the screen up in our production office at work, and I walked through as Vader goes to strike Obi-Wan, and he goes into the Force, and then Luke's like, no.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say you screamed no from across the room. No!
No, that is there's so much more weight to that scene for sure now. It's too bad the fight scene itself is
I know.
a little dated
but it's
now.
like, I mean, now I'm sure like Filoni and those guys would like to explain, because very much like the Maul Obi-Wan fight, where it's like, you don't need to flourish like that. Real sword fighters don't. They are very calculating, and the fight scenes aren't. They know each other's moves, and it's only a few strokes, and it's done.
Yeah, they know each other, and they know that they've been through
a
much more arduous fight.
Yeah.
So that you got to look at that scene now and think they were probably a little bit of exhaustion, sort of just, thinking about that fight and what it culminated to, and just to say, they don't need to do all the dazzling moves, like you said.
Yeah. I want to see an edit of that scene as well, cut with the Battle of the Heroes.
There is speaking of, there's a YouTube video though of that scene with Vader, like double speed.
Oh yeah, you told me about that.
It is like way better. Like just a little faster.
Yeah,
I'll tell you, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, because it's like just the strikes are a little faster, so it's really good. I forgot about that until you just mentioned that, but yeah, it's really good. It's amazing what people do these days, right? So, all right, so I kind of thought you were going to go. To be honest, I thought you were going to go Han shooting first.
Oh no. I was trying to think of a Han scene.
I thought you were going to say a Han Solo scene.
I was trying, but he doesn't have a scene like that. I mean, definitely
he had good moments.
Definitely the scene for 5, it would be like the carbon freezing.
Totally.
Han Solo really shines in that movie for me. That's why I fall in love with Han Solo, is mainly because of Empire. But now The New Hope, I even said it last time.
Okay, let's go real. I'll go real fast. Everybody.
Oh, okay.
Episode 5, my favorite.
Yeah.
By far, Yoda explaining the Force is like it gives me chills just thinking about it. Still,
energy.
That whole monologue is like the bomb.
That's a easy energy. I think
so. Carbon freeze for you?
Probably that. Cause it's just so emotional and so romantic.
The Luke Vader battle in the carbon chamber. Easily.
That's good too.
The lighting.
Lack of music.
Yeah, the intensity of the battle. The simplicity of the scene too. I mean, there's a lot of subtext going on. And then it culminates to the biggest, revelation.
Yeah, the biggest revelation. Yeah. So that's funny because none of us said, "I am your father," right? That's like that's 6.
the Vader Luke fight at the end of 6 is even one of my favorite fights across all 6 films. It's just so emotional. It's just when it's really the point when Vader calls out Luke, saying like, "If you can't turn, then your sister will." You know?
Yes,
then he's like,
that is.
Then he lashes out. It's that moment where he's lashing out, and there's like a big wide shot of Luke just baseball batting Vader, and then he chops his hand off. That to me is crazy emotional.
I won't say because the fight is awesome.
Yeah.
I love that Luke turns his saber off multiple times through
Yeah.
the fight.
Yeah.
That's really cool too. But I'll go with Luke coming to Jabba's palace, going into the Rancor pit. It's just a really cool scene.
Yeah.
And seeing Luke, he force chokes a Gamorrean guard. Just a lot of interesting things happen.
Very
whole
much
scene.
so. Yeah, I got to go. Honestly, I'm going to go the softy side. The Luke Leia scene on the Ewok village is like one of my favorite of all time, because that whole scene, him revealing that to her, and even the slight mother reference you get, because then, right, you don't know about Padme. You don't know. Again, context changes that scene totally. As we learn more, even in Bloodline, in these novels about what they did and didn't know about their mother. But that scene right there really obviously brought them together as brother and sister. And I love that scene. It's one of the best things about Star Wars. And the fact that I know I got a picture taken with the Skywalker twins at Celebration. Like, I cherish that, man. It's awesome. Yeah. So, all right. That's...
Good talk.
That's our 40th anniversary episode. Not our 40th anniversary. Star Wars is 40th anniversary.
40 years.
Yeah, that was 185, I think. Episode 185. So, Cody, thanks for joining us.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I love talking Star Wars.
And well, real quick too, how was your celebration experience?
Oh my goodness.
First celebration.
Went to my first
You don't have that much time to say it.
Yeah, went to my first celebration. It was amazing. I can't wait to go back. I'm hooked. I loved it.
Was it everything you anticipated? More? Nice.
Definitely more.
Nice. Yeah. That's awesome. Celebration. We will never stop talking about how important celebration is. 2019. I still don't know exactly where it is, right? No. But it's 2019.
Yeah.
In the States?
Do
we know that? We don't even know that? Oh, nope. Wow. Okay. Well, we'll find out. Thanks, you guys, for staying with us. We'll be back next week for a regular episode with me and Case. InsideTheForce.com. Go there, get all the episodes there. Of course, subscribe to us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We're on Stitcher Radio, TuneIn Radio, iTunes, Google. All the platforms all the episodes are on the site.
And I don't know if I ever mentioned this on the show, but you actually can subscribe via email on our website.
Yes, sorry.
I feel like I failed to mention that when I first made it, but on our website, on the right sidebar there, it prompts you to type in your email address, hit submit, and then whenever we make a post, whether it's episode or article, you get an email notification of that sent to your inbox, if you find that more convenient. We try to reach you in every way.
In every way, correct. All right, guys. Casey's quote.
You're afraid that you will never be as strong as Darth Vader. That's my Rey impression.
Nice. All right.
Since that picture of Rey, like we talked about earlier in the show, Rey's been on my mind, man. I can't get her off my mind. She's so cool.
She's awesome, man.
Yeah, she's good. All right, that's everything. Casey's Kryptonian1138 on Twitter. I'm D Cottingham21. Cody's at Cody Guiler, right?
At Cody Guiler.
So he's at the easy one.
No one takes Cody Guiler. See, couldn't do Casey Cooley.
Ain't nobody like me.
Yeah. There is a Casey Cooley?
I think there was.
There definitely is a David Cottingham. I didn't get it in time. So that's not me. Thank you guys. Again, thanks, Cody.
Thank you.
He's Casey.
Goodbye, everybody.
I'm Dave, and may the Force be with you. Happy birthday, Star Wars.
Thank you for listening to Inside the Force, a Star Wars podcast hosted by David Cottingham and Casey Cooley. For more shows, additional content, articles, and the latest Star Wars news, please visit InsideTheForce.com. Inside the Force. For the Force, then all of us.